everybody, I'm Andy Murray for WhatCulture.com.
And I'm Adam Nicholas, and this is the news because we don't have any Adam Wilborn, so we're taking the reins.
The alternative tag team. We have just arrived on our shiny, big transport here in New York City. It is loud, it is noisy, there's a lot going on, but we are going to make do. So coming up today, we have stories on the WWE Hall of Fame, a few new inductees to go through, the DDT show that we both attended last night here in New York, and of course, an independent wrestler shooting on WWE. All very exciting stuff, Mr. Nicholas. But first, The Undertaker. What's going on with him at the moment? No one seems to know, apart from PW Insider. Now, the latest on Taker apparently is that he is in New Jersey, which is just over the river right there. Right now, as we speak, he has arrived in the area and will potentially be backstage at WrestleMania 35. Now, there's currently no word as to whether or not he'll do anything on camera, but this is pretty interesting.
It is, and it also counteracts the point that I heard that apparently on Twitter he had turned his phone onto airplane mode so that Vince McMahon couldn't disturb him because he was too tired, which I feel like is possibly a little bit of hearsay, Andy Murray, perhaps.
Absolutely. I mean, Undertaker's been doing a little bit of mad banter across Instagram, Twitter a lot recently. He's been showing some slices of his life, but I would suggest that's probably
He's done a lot of your da stuff recently, hasn't he? Where
yeah, he really has.
Listen, kayfabe's dead, guys. Here I am with my sponsored brand, The Undertaker.
So I guess after all we've been through over the past few months, after the Starcast fiasco, after Vince McMahon apparently falling out with him, Taker's maybe back in the fold after all.
Possibly. Well, the thing is, he probably wants to be around here anyway for the event, you'd imagine. Because WrestleMania weekend, you want a lot going on. The big thing is, though, will he actually feature? I don't know if... It would be weird for him not to. It's been all these WrestleManias for all these years. Surely Vince McMahon has a plan, but obviously because of everything that's happened with the Starcast stuff, we don't know.
He'd be a big miss.
It would be a big miss. But speaking of Starr
and big misses,
Starcast, hey, big misses, we move on to our next story about David Starr, who has been letting his mouth run, but he's been messaging out some things on Twitter, and it's got the world talking in the internet wrestling community. I'm just going to read them out what we have.
He has been shooting hard, brothers.
He has been shooting hard. Well, shooting hard, but is it a work? Everything's a work. But in this day and age, who knows? Let's find out. Let's have a quick look at this.
It's a dog going mental in the background.
Oh, I've just got a clip of him doing a Gollum sign. Yeah, that's good. There we go. David Starr's tweets yesterday, so I'll just read them out for you here. He says, this was this morning.
This morning, overnight, pretty much.
David Starr saying, yes, I quit WXW because of Walter's cowardice. Yes, I called out the WWN Live fans for embracing an evil corporation's attempt to ruin independent wrestling's time to ruin independent wrestling's time to shine. He also said, yes, I said WWE should provide its wrestlers healthcare and allow for unions. He also said, by the way, having a bit of a moment here, quite a lot of stuff he said. I do have to apologise, I forget to mention how it's abhorrent that they accept Saudi blood money. My bad, guys. He also said, I hope you guys recorded it. Knowing WXW's relationship with them, they'll edit it out. So David Starr has been shooting hard. We saw this before he did the promo, before his match with...
I can't even remember
who the match was with. Give us a break, guys. It's freezing. There's boats, there's wind, there's all sorts. But basically, he was shooting on the Sinclair Broadcast Company. That obviously got banned. We all ended up seeing it because of that. So this is David Starr getting them pistols out once again.
Yeah, absolutely is.
Mad.
I probably reckon that this is probably just David Starr trying to create a little bit of buzz, trying to get himself mentioned, and understandable. The guy's one of the best indie wrestlers on the scene today, one of the best unsigned wrestlers in the world.
A defiant wrestling stalwart.
Absolutely, he's there every show near enough. He's a great talker, he's a great personality, he's a great wrestler, he's an awesome babyface and also an incredible heel. And this stuff, it's kind of in line with what came out with not Stephen Colbert, the other guy, John Oliver, last week. Obviously, he cut that big promo on This Week Tonight. I mean, it's just capitalising on the zeitgeist. It's cool, it's exciting, it's fresh. He shot pretty hard on Walter, of all people, who's had a big rivalry with in WXW as well. So
obviously recently gone and will be a takeover tonight.
Tonight, yeah. Oh my goodness, we're going to take over tonight. That's mental.
Insane. But I think it's one of the things at the moment where, because of the John Oliver thing, maybe a lot more of this sort of stuff's going to come out on top of that, because David Starr obviously is an advocate for sort of challenging the things that people wouldn't normally challenge.
Status quo.
But we'll have to wait and see. Will that be a work? Will that be something of him just shoot? I hope WWE aren't reading it, because that bridge may well be burning. We've got a guy just popping along with a bit of construction there, so bear with us for the noise. Andy Murray, what have we got next?
Hall of Fame. We've got some new inductees in the Legacy Wing. Now this wing of the award ceremony, it doesn't always get put over particularly strongly on awards night. It's just more of a cursory here. Here's these guys, here's why they're in. Very quick stuff. But there's some big names in this class here, and the most notable of all is Bruiser Brody. Huge figure in the wrestling industry throughout like the 60s and 70s. Really fearful, wild, brawling maniac of a character. Obviously, the way his life ended was very tragic. He was reportedly murdered in a shower while wrestling abroad. Really dark stuff that I don't quite want to get into, but like. Bruiser Brody, not necessarily a particularly incredible worker, but a guy who was really over, a really inspirational guy. Loads of guys still rip him off with brawling.
Hugely influential, like on a lot of guys in the modern era, particularly like the likes of Daniel Bryan, most notably probably the most recent one. You can say Luke Harper, guys like that, all very heavily influenced by Bruiser Brody.
Anyone who brawls and has long hair and or wears chains, basically, you could say was influenced by Bruiser Brody. Togi Makabe is another good one in New Japan. He does the Unchained Kinkai. He even does his knee drop as a finisher. There are a couple of other names as well. We have Professor Toru Tanaka, SD Jones. We have Joseph Cohen, who is the Madison Square Garden Network creator, and one-time on-screen WWF president Hisashi Shinma. That rounds off today's class.
You've done well there, because I would have got that wrong.
Exactly. We also have Playboy Buddy Rose, Wahoo McDaniel, Luna Vachon, another name people have been kind of campaigning for. So it's an interesting few additions, and it looks very nice. It looks like the Hall of Fame this year. While it doesn't necessarily have the strongest headliner, it'll probably be DX. It's a good class. It's rounded out. It's a lot of names that people want ticked off.
And nice to see Bruiser Brody going into the Hall of Fame.
Finally, yes,
because
absolutely.
It's a guy who a lot of people respect over the years, and to see him actually get his dues. The Hall of Fame, well, I guess essentially doesn't. I don't want to say it doesn't mean anything, but it's essentially what Vince picks randomly whenever he fancies it. There's not really a criteria these days. Yeah. But to see Bruiser Brody go in is excellent, and I'm very looking forward to seeing the rest of them go in as well.
Absolutely.
And happy to go
after you.
Well, moving on then. We're going to talk about our show last night. As soon as this guy stops driving in our scene.
Filming outside.
We went to a show last night. We were covering quite a few different shows, but myself and Andy Murray and our lovely editors decided to go across to see the DDT show that was on at La Boom over on
in Queens.
In Queens, yes. And absolutely, by the time we got there, time had ran over a bit. Our travel situation was a bit.
We had a few hold-ups, let's say.
We had a few hold-ups. Anyway, we got the show. We did manage to catch the last couple of matches there. What an atmosphere that was last night, by the way. Such a great little venue. We were very confused because outside it was just a lot of a car lot, but when we finally got to the back, amazing. Great venue. The fans were going mad throughout the whole show. Andy Murray, you have got the scoop on some of the guys who were wrestling last night. I would admit, not the massive advocate for DDT. Don't really know much about them, but you know a little bit more than I do.
Yeah, like I can't call myself an expert on DDT, but I've checked out a few matches here and there. Like I was quite familiar with some of the guys we saw. So as we were walking in, we saw a tag team match involving Joey Ryan, who the internet knows very well.
That's a guy who I know.
And a guy called Dan Shoko Dino, who, if you've never heard of this guy before, let's just say he's rather flamboyant. As we were exiting the show last night, and Mr. Adam Nicholas shook his hand.
I can attest to.
And he grabbed his willy. So that was interesting.
As it was going out, it was a high five and a low five for everybody who was going. Which I'm not going to lie, I really enjoyed.
Yeah, it was a nice little tickle.
That's it.
As we got in, this guy had his arse out, basically. He was in the ring, he had his arse out, he got pinned by Joey Ryan, or Joey Ryan's tag partner. Yeah. And then he kind of just got up to the crowd and started putting his arse in people's faces. It was really weird, it was very DDT.
Much to the crowd's elation, we should point out. There was no disappointed fans.
No, they were popping like crazy, they were loving it. So after that, we had a match for the KOD Openweight Championship between the defending champion Konosuke Takeshita and Daisuke Sasaki of the Damnation stable. This was insane.
It was mental.
One of the craziest matches I've ever seen live. Like, not in terms of like mad flips and dives and all this nonsense. In terms of bumping, these guys killed each other.
Yeah, they did. And bearing in mind we've been travelling for so long, we were tired. It was like someone had just got adrenaline and just put it into our heart. It was absolutely crazy. Some of the bumps they were taking.
It was insane.
Was nuts.
Like, there was one point where Takeshita was in the crowd over the barricade. He was on a pile of chairs on the outside. Everyone parted. Sasaki climbs up on the top rope, does what looked like an elbow drop from where we were, and the thump when that guy hit the floor. And I'll say one thing about Sasaki, who eventually won this match to take the belt back. He actually lost it to Takeshita a few weeks ago, but he wanted to take the belt back here. This guy bumps. When this guy bumps, he makes it look like he's about to die. Yeah. Like, he's obviously not landing on his head and neck and so forth, but he makes it look like he is, and it really enhances the stuff, and it makes you cringe as well. And I think that's part of the power. But just to wrap this little DDT segment up, I think most people look at DDT and they only think of the comedy. They think of the blow-up dolls, they think of giant pandas and like penises and stuff. This match,
which are all good, we should point out.
Oh, absolutely. We love all this stuff. Like, variety's great. But this match, pacing-wise and the way it was laid out and the hard hits, this could have gone on a New Japan show.
Yeah.
Like, DDT is not all comedy, it's not all fluff. There are some really, really great wrestlers there, and they're putting on really great work. And if you perhaps are put off by the comedy stuff, that's fair enough, but maybe check out their main event scene, because what we saw last night was awesome. Now, we should also mention that there was a cash-in. Tetsuya Endo, stablemate of Daisuke Sasaki, took the belt off him immediately as soon as he'd won it. He had a Money in the Bank equivalent. It looked like a little crap kid's toy.
It was. We were really confused because they were holding this thing up and we didn't understand initially what it was, and then it was like, cash in, and it was absolutely great. The crowd were going mad for it.
Yeah.
Really, really good
It was
stuff.
quality stuff. That Tetsuya Endo, his stablemate, basically kicked him in the balls and then beat him in a 5-minute match to win the belt. But there was no falling out afterwards. They kind of went, yeah, well, fair play. It was for the belt. We're still friends.
I like that as well, because it was very much like, this is the prize, it's nothing personal, I want the belt, and he got the belt. And after the show they were all together, which was really, that was quite refreshing. That was WWE. That is a new 2 months of storyline there where someone's fallen out.
So that was DDT coming to America. If you find the chance to check it out on video on demand, please do that. Up next, your Twitter questions.
Ooh, Twitter questions. Did he say that? Did he say that? Huh? The what? That colour thing.
Oh my God!
It's beautiful. That was Chris. That Chris. Lovely stuff.
He's so good, isn't he?
He's better than us, isn't he?
I love him.
Bit more prepared.
Questions.
Twitter questions. Okay. First one today comes from Thomas MCK98. Do you think that once the women's titles are unified, that the women should have their own TV shows and monthly pay-per-views? This could stop the tag titles and the women's champions jumping from show to show. What do you reckon, Mr. Nicholas?
Interesting. Initially, my initial reaction to that question, I don't think so. I think I like the fact that the women are building their own brand on the show already and go toe-to-toe with the men, and have arguably been put on better stuff over the last couple of weeks and months. Like, I know the issues with the Evolution pay-per-view not getting renewed, or certainly not at the moment being renewed, have like sort of raised some questions about WWE's commitment to that. I think maybe they've got a plan. I feel like
our friend's back.
He is back. It's almost like he knows, just so we get the bread and butter. But for me, personally, I'd like to see him stay with the men so you can see the competition that would go alongside it. What about you?
I completely agree. I think if you give them their own show, there is a worry about it becoming a 205 Live kind of thing. Obviously, people like Becky, Charlotte, they're much bigger draws than Tony East and Buddy Murphy, who are both great wrestlers, but when they wrestle, unfortunately, because people have been conditioned into not caring about them, they don't really get any reactions until they start heating things up. Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think they should be integrated. I think it should be, if you want true equality between the men and women, you have to present them together, and you have to have the women headlining mixed shows, which is what they'll be doing on Sunday night.
Absolutely.
So our next question, great one there, by the way, comes from Rico Reds. And this one is about Matt Riddle. How would you feel about Matt Riddle being the new Paul Heyman guy after Brock, but more of a Heyman-Punk dynamic than a Heyman-Lesnar dynamic?
Yes.
Really interesting
1,000 times yes, that sounds good to me. And I'd love it if we went down the route of, if Brock Lesnar's leaving for whatever reason, have Riddle be the man who gets rid of Brock Lesnar and have Riddle literally take Lesnar out, take his manager and go on to just take every belt. He's absolutely great, Matt Riddle. Love a bit of that. What do you think?
I adore it. I really adore that.
Big fan of that.
Because like Matt Riddle is a fantastic wrestler. I love his character. I love the whole bro thing. It's great stuff. But there are times when he doesn't come off all that convincing with scripted promos. Obviously that's something he's going to learn down in the Performance Center and stuff, but if he has a guy like Paul Heyman, that's a really good idea. It's really cool, it's really interesting, and I'd love to see the personality clash between Heyman with his advocate persona and this laid back chill bro who can kill people.
But that was the nice thing about Punk and Heyman as well, because while the Heyman and Lesnar thing is very much Heyman talks, Lesnar destroys, it was Punk can also talk, Heyman can talk, and the combination was outstanding.
Dynamic. So our last question of the day, Mr. Nicholas, and I have picked this one straight for you, actually, because we've had conversations about this exact topic recently.
No pressure.
So, this comes from Purple Griffin, great name. Hey guys, since we are said to be the new authority figures, us, the people, the fans, could we see at WrestleMania 35 ending with all the baby faces being winners?
Well,
except Triple H, obviously.
I've got the biggest baby face on the show, arguably.
Big Dave Legend.
So I have opinions on this.
You do?
We have opinions because if all our baby faces win, just think back to when Daniel Bryan had that lovely moment at WrestleMania 30. The babyface won, he got his moment. How bad were the next 3 years? Just remember how bad WrestleMania was for the next 3 years. No disrespect to Roman Reigns, but at the time, WrestleMania 31, 32, and 33 as well, it didn't go well. If all our baby faces win, Kofi Kingston, Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins, I'd be really happy on the night. But 5 years of terror would be to follow. That's my personal opinion. I think someone's going to miss out. I think it might be Seth. It might even be Kofi.
No.
They might see Kofi being good enough to get the underdog there.
Yeah.
Not, but I'd like to see him win it.
Yeah.
Out of the two, if I had to sacrifice one of them, as much as that's going to hurt us to say it would be Seth.
Yeah, completely agree. Like we've discussed this at great length in the office, so it's a really great question. I think Seth Rollins, is a dead cert to lose on Sunday. I might be dead wrong there. I'm sure you will let me know. Comment
Smash
section.
good to Rollins with the belt.
Yeah, here we are. I'd obviously love all three faces to win. It's feel good, it's great, it's blah blah blah. But WWE too tend to kind of iron these things out. They will balance it out over the coming years, and it will be bloody miserable. So thank you everyone for your Twitter questions today. And now we move on to our final section, finally. And so, here I am playing the Adam Wilborn surrogate.
Before he does it, there has been a preface that it was really good. So no pressure. I'm going to try. I haven't seen this yet, but if this is as good as he says it is, it should be a good start in the morning.
So. People don't rip off my gimmicks very often. I don't have a lot of them, to be honest. I have one pretty prominent one, and
that being you.
It kind of is.
Incredible.
I cannot say the word push properly, which obviously I did not know about until I started doing videos on the internet and everyone told me. So, Kourtney Kardashian has obviously been watching, big fan of the channel. Kourtney Kardashian has been watching our videos. She's obviously come across my content. She has heard me say the word push. And do you know what she's done? She has created a lifestyle website named Push with 2 O's.
That's not real.
This is real.
Not real.
This was
the Washington Post. That is real.
Yeah, it's real. It's mental. This was tweeted to me by Andrew Best. Thank you very much for that. It's insane. I can't say push anymore.
I can't wait till he puts the image up of this. That is ridiculous. That's Photoshop. I'm not having that.
So, I would like to say that my lawyers will be on the phone, but obviously the Kardashians' father was a very famous lawyer himself. So, thanks, Kourtney.
Do you have the patent or trademark for this push?
No.
We'll figure that one. And I think that's a good note to end on.
It is, anyway. Thanks for that today, guys. I've been Andy Murray. You can follow me on Twitter at Andy H. Murray. This is Adam Nicholas.
I've been Adam Nicholas. You can follow me on Twitter at It's Adam Nicholas. Or you can follow WhatCulture on Twitter at WhatCulture WWE. Or follow our lovely editor, Chris, at Chris.
At Edit Chris Edit.
There it is.
With a K. There we go.
Right,
there we go. That's all for today, guys. Thanks for tuning in. If you could send us more Twitter questions, the usual channels at WhatCultureWWE, hashtag This Is The News. Adam Wilborn might be back tomorrow if he survives WrestleCon. I've heard he's going to be hanging out with Sabu and maniacs like that, so who knows, he's probably in that river right now.
Lots more content to do, so we're going to head back to the boat now and get on with it. Andy Murray's got a suite booked for all of us in there. Should be lovely.
Wonderful stuff. See you later, guys.